So what's up, guys? Here's another scripted content from me. In this video, I'm using Moskov, and as we all know, there are two builds that work well on him, either the Trinity build or the critical build. I actually used both in this video, and I'm going to share with you the advantages and disadvantages I noticed for each build. First is the Trinity build. So Moskov is really one of those heroes that's meant for the late game, unlike other gold laners right now like Granger or Irithel, who are already strong with just 1 or 2 items. You can immediately feel their damage. But with Moskov, he needs at least 3 items before you really feel how strong his damage is. What I noticed is that with the Trinity build, Moskov is already strong even with just 3 items. But with the critical build, the scaling takes longer. I think you need 4 items before you can really feel how effective the critical build is. Moskov is already a late game hero, and with the critical build, the scaling takes even longer. But it's definitely worth it if the game reaches late game, because your damage is insanely high with a critical build. That's why for me, it's high risk, high reward, but the risk is higher. There's a risk that you'll be useless in the early game and won't be able to recover. Our jungler in this game was Karina, and she was talking too much throughout the game. Living proof that the loudest one in the game is usually the one who plays the worst. Later, I'll show you exactly why. If you keep focusing on trash talking, you'll lose focus on the actual game. And maybe that's one of the reasons why you can't climb your rank. By the way, the Trinity build is safer to use and fits Moskov more, because his first and second skill cooldowns are reduced with every basic attack. That means his attack speed becomes faster, and on top of that, with Golden Staff, it reduces cooldown much more. So with that, Moskov's dash is almost unlimited, which is exactly what marksmen need right now. They need to be hard to catch and have high mobility. Also, the Trinity build is better when there are a lot of tanky heroes on the enemy team, plus the damage is more effective because of the Demon Hunter sword. Since his dash has a faster cooldown, it's harder for enemies to catch him, especially since tanky heroes usually have slow mobility. And with his second skill, his crowd control is almost unlimited as well. After I fulfilled what Karina said about carrying them, I checked her profile. And as expected, she's been so loud in the game, but still has only 28 stars after 355 matches. It's always the ones who are weak that are the loudest. It's fine if you're weak, but at least don't trash talk because you have no right to do that. It would be different if you were the one carrying the game. I keep getting teammates like that, so loud with the trash talk, yet they're the ones dragging the team down. And then here I am, carrying the game, getting trash talk for it just because they're in a trio and refuse to see their own mistakes. That's why I really can't stand players like that. It'd be more tolerable if they were the ones carrying the game, right? I'd accept it more if that was the case. Another advantage of the Trinity build is that it lets you push faster since your basic attacks don't crit on turrets. But if the game reaches late game, I prefer the critical build because the damage is insanely high. Enemies will be surprised that with just 2 or 3 hits, they're already dead. Especially when you have Inspire as your battle spell, which I think is the best fit for Moskov when he's on a critical build. I don't know what Clint was thinking here, but he just let me hit him with my spear like that. Is there any Moskov user here watching who's using both builds for Moskov? Drop a comment below with your opinion on each build, and which one you think is better in different situations. This is one of the advantages when you're using the Trinity build. Your dash and second skill cooldown are super fast. By the way, for both builds, the last 3 items are the same. They're really important no matter if you're using critical or Trinity. The Malefic Gun, Sea Halberd, and either Wind of Nature or Rose Gold Meteor are crucial for both builds. Even pro players use the Trinity build because it really fits Moskov's kit better. The critical build is more of an option if you're confident in yourself and you like taking risks. Some players set their targeting priority to closest target to maximize Moskov's passive, but I suggest you stick with lowest HP instead. When you're surrounded by enemies, the closest target setting becomes useless and unreliable. I already got a Maniac here, and it looks like I might be able to get a Savage too. I'm hunting down Leomord and hoping he gives it to me, because I actually have a long-term goal of reaching 1,000 Savage kills on this account, both in Classic and Ranked games. But that's still a long way to go since I'm only at around 200 right now. I tried grinding in Classic before, but the enemies there are usually stronger since they can freely use overpowered heroes. Plus, there are a lot of Classic gods who treat Classic like it's Ranked. Meanwhile, your teammates are just practicing heroes, so it's actually harder to win in Classic under those conditions. That's where you'll find the really good Fanny players. Since she's always banned in Ranked, they can only use her in Classic. And most of the time, you haven't even countered her, so it's really hard to win in situations like that. They abuse broken heroes, and what makes it worse is that they're rarely countered in those matches. Here, I'm already using the critical build, and I suggest you be extra careful in the early game. Don't force fights if the situation looks risky, because Moskov is really weak early on with this build. And yeah, I'm using Inspire so you'll also get inspired to try him out. Oops. Shout out to Hachi, the first and only member of this channel. I've never asked anyone to become a member, so thank you so much for the support. If you're watching this video, just drop a comment if you ever want to play a game with me. This build feels so satisfying to use once you reach the late game, if you can make it there. The damage is insanely high, and the chance to make a comeback becomes really huge. Actually, in most of my games where I go for the critical build, I tend to fall behind early. But once I get the core items, that's when the tide suddenly turns and the whole situation flips in our favor. This is the game where I kept dying in the early game. But don't worry guys, this one's scripted. I told the enemies to keep killing me early on, then let me kill them in the late game and give me a Savage. This Joy even spammed recall after killing me. Yep, totally scripted. But once we hit the late game and I got all the items I needed, just look at how painful the damage is, and how solid the sustain becomes thanks to the lifesteal. Another Maniac, and I'm not sure if I'll get a Savage this time. Earlier I didn't get it, but luckily Joy went back and gave me the Savage. See? Told you, it's scripted. Silver lineup. Here's another one guys, where I'm using the critical build again. Watch how painful the damage is and how I managed to get a Savage.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick